Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Nishmas. We have some very chashuv guests here. It's a whole table of guests. Wow. Shalom Aleichem. First to you. What's your name?
David Goldberg.
Shalom Aleichem. Thanks for the pen.
That's a pleasure.
Wow.
Goldberg Consulting. That's my.
You can't. Oh, shiggle advertising going. Wow. Shalom. What's your name? Shalom Aleichem. From?
Los Angeles.
Wow. Very nice. How long are you doing the daf?
I'm actually not.
This right, the first daf. You'll remember this day for the rest of your life. Right. Oh, wow. I was there at least twice at the Mishmar place. You go to Mishmar or? So you were there when I came? You remember that? Okay, it's very memorable, yeah. Okay. B'ezrat Hashem, listen, it's on. Daf Yomi is the most consistent thing. Let me try to convince you right now. We got to learn Torah every day, right? Why? Torah is the most chashuv of mitzvah. It's more chashuv than tefillin. You put on tefillin every day, you learn Torah every day. This is the best way to do it. You start here, every single day. It's hard. You got to build a habit. But once you get into it, 40 days, 60 days, bam, it's yours. And every day, it's easy. Turn on the YouTube, 45 minutes later, you got the Torah done. But every day, consistency. Great. What's your name? Shalom Aleichem. Boy, you look familiar, sound familiar.
My son Yehuda did it over Yontif. He says I should send regards, and his whole class is.
Where are you from?
Tarasaran, a whole bunch of kids.
Where's this?
Tarasaran, Lakewood.
Lakewood. Givaldic.
They were all into it over Yontif.
Givaldic. What's your name? You've been here many times. So why are you sitting on the Archim table? But it's okay. Yeah, that's perfect. What's your name again?
Alan Ork from Edison, New Jersey.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back.
One thing, it's my mother's yard site today. I brought a tikkun and I'll make a donation to the job.
What's her name?
Nishmas Fega Chaya Bas Yaakov Chaim.
Fega Chaya Bas Yaakov Chaim. Givaldic. Okay. Today we had. Who else? Who else is a guest here? Boruch. Shalom Aleichem, how you doing? Also from Los Angeles? Oh, Givaldic. Beautiful. LA is representing. This is the LA table here. We got Ari Simon from the valedictorian. He's valedictorian. And we got the non-valedictorian right over here. Give me this gift. What is this gift here? It says, this is Arisha B'chabura. Oh, I get it. It's going to be a picture of an Ari. שתמיד עוזר לנו להבחין בין הטהור ובין הטמא. גם בספארי, אבל גם בחיים יום-יום. ברכה רבה תלמיד בבייס המדרש. Let's see what it is. Oh wow. This is cool. This is very cool. Wow. Shmak. I like that. That's very chashuv. No, Yoshi made this once. We showed this once, and he took it. It's very. That's cool. Who's this Talmud? Anybody want to say who it is? No. It's very nice. I want to show you on the turning the daf. I got a very, very cool gift. So remind me when I turn the daf. I want to show you the gift. Somebody drove in from Yerushalayim, stopped his car, says, "Can I give this to you?" I said, "Oh, okay. What is it? I'll show it to you." Very cool. Rabbi Isai, this is Rabbi Yitzchak Bernhak. This is typical MDY. The guy with the strimal, the guy without the strimal. The poor Mark Ashkenazi has to go from that poor. He goes from chasana to chasana. He was a chasana last night. This is my nephew, Dov. I said Kamiansky, I think, last night. Kamenetsky. This is a great grandson of Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky. He's 10 years old. He does daf. This kid knows Chamisha Chumshei Torah Bal Peh and half a Mishnah is Bal Peh because he goes to one of those Zikr schools. He was laning on Pesach. He lanes daf Torah Bal Peh, like from a cloth. Hi, Rabbi. My 5-year-old Olivia and 3-year-old Maya have been watching your class every day. They wanted to share a message to the Olam. Please see attached. It would make their day to see it played in class. P.S. If a 5 and 3-year-old can do the daf every day, all adults have no excuse.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Shalom. My name is Rabbi Yohanan, something like that. I know. Lojanan. I guess Yochanan. I lead a yeshiva for Gerim in Colombia, South Africa, South America. For the last 16 years, we've been guiding and preparing individuals who are leaving Avodah Zarah and embracing Torah. Avodah Zarah and Torah. Recently, our yeshiva began learning Daf Yomi together using your videos, which I translated to Spanish. The initiative has been ongoing for the past 2 months and include all the students in yeshiva. We can sincerely say that your work has played a vital role in helping us build a new generation of Talmidei Chachamim in South America. We'll continue to update you on our progress. Attach some pictures from our community. Baruch Hashem for MDY. Baruch Hashem for MDY. Sincerely, Yeshivat Nachalat Asher. Here it is, Rabbi Isai. In Colombia, so I'll tell you the story over there. One of the stories that really touched me. This is the first time I think that he's writing to us, but he was at the Shabbaton. Yeah, this guy, this is the Rosh. No, this is not the rabbi?
No. You'll go brought someone else.
You'll go over someone else? Okay. It sounds like the same community. But it's the Yoel Goldberg community?
It's not the guy.
It's not a different community. What? Benny says he thinks it is. He looks very much like him. Okay, fine.
He wasn't the priest.
He wasn't the priest? Okay. But anyway, if that's the community, so one of the very moving stories that I heard from Yoel Goldberg was that Yoel Gold, who's also at the Shabbaton, was that they didn't have money, very, very poor over there. They didn't have money to put together a Sefer Torah. They needed a Sefer Torah. So one of the guys, only somebody that has a pet could really fully appreciate this. One of the guys sold his dog, and when he was saying he was crying, he sold his dog to raise a little money for the Sefer Torah. That's something I would do. Tell my wife I'm doing it for the Sefer Torah. Remember I had to get rid of that dog? I couldn't finally my son took him to Los Angeles. You don't have a son in Los Angeles. You guys know, Akiva, yeah. I have to share this special video of my son, Ephraim Grossman and his friend Laser Handler enjoying your shir live at 12 a.m. while their friends were having a kumsitz. They chose to learn instead. Look at this kumsitz in the backyard. I guess this is like Muncie. What is this? They have like such property.
3 more days it's going to be
Okay, what else do we have here? Oh, real quickly. We're running late here. I want to share Shabbos as part of the drasha before the Siyum. Our associate rabbi, Chaim Axelrod, encouraged the Kahal to start learning Daf Yomi. He made the point that even if you have not opened the Gemara in years, oh, this is in the middle of the Chasana? It's live. Shalom Aleichem, Mazel Tov. Wow. Technologia. This is Mamish Technologia. What? Sound, why not? Reb Yitzchok, what's out, Reb Yitzchok? Mazel Tov.
Mazel Tov. Simchas and Achis for the whole MDY family.
Oh man. Well, where are you holding over there? The mitzvah tans? What's going on over there?
So if you want, you can still get a mitzvah tans, Rebelli.
Tyler streamed his phone.
I've never done one and I don't intend to.
I'll put the gadol to the phone and you'll dance.
That I'm asking. Let's go. No, let's go. All right, Mazel Tov. Thanks for being such a big part of MDY. Yishkoyach. The Hadras Punim. Look at that Hadras Punim. Givaldik. I want to share the Shabbos as part of his drush before the Siyum and associate rabbi Chaim Axelrod encouraged the Kahal to start learning the Daf Yomi. He made the point that even if you have not opened the Gemara in years, MDY was still the place for you. He went on to share many platforms to access the share and deputize me as the MDY ambassador. We're doing our part in New Rochelle to bring more people to the Daf. Wishing you continue Atzlacha. Our official, unofficial MDY ambassador of New Rochelle, New York. Yesher Koyach. Who? What? What's that? Where is this? I don't know. Masech the sponsors. Oh, Rabbi said this is the first time that we're doing a corporate sponsor. This is a very, very nice sponsorship. David Salamon dedicated in memory of Reb Shmuel Boruch ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Niftar Yud Zayin Iyar.
He's a chashuv. He sponsored David Salamon. Sponsored Shiurim in Muncie for years. Every Thursday night in the big shul in Muncie, he bought a cholent, he bought things, he bought major guy.
Whatever. I'm not going to go. I don't want to give away too many things. I'll tell you about him a different time, so the oil doesn't put things together. The Masech sponsored anonymous. Hatzlocha Baruchnis Begashmis. This guy gave $9,000 because we saw a cheetah a chase. Begashmis L'schus Achiנו b'nei Yisrael on our safari last month. Anonymous. May our learning be a shield of protection and a source of unity and blessing for Am Yisrael. Joel Gedalius, Eli nishmas, my father, Jack Gedalius. Chayil sponsored. Moshe Miriam Landy, thank Hashem for all the bracha and simcha. Chayil of the day. Anonymous, thanks to MDY. Monthly sponsors: TCS Israel, powered by TALKNSAVE, Yoni Klestzick, Refuah, Sheleimah, Miriam, Esther, Pärl, Pradel, Pesel. Daily sponsors Anonymous for the safe return of all the hostages and Refuah Sheleimah, L'chol Chaylei Am Yisrael. Ovadia Onur El Galmidi, Hazaku Baruch. Heidi Weichner. In memory of my grandfather, Reuben Oginski Olav Shalom, Reuben Ben Meir, Yortzeit is Gimel, Tammuz, and Shom Shadav and Aliyah. And the white kids, Tzchus, for Fischel, Chanan, Akiva, Rivkim is Stefansky, Am Yisrael for learning, 4 Mesechus for Rebelli. Art of the month, for Sheleimah, if you don't attend them, Bracha, for Rebelli to make the whole MDY, and the whole MDY staff to continue to make Torahs on Jewish so many, in honor of Yossi Klein and Mark Ashkenazi for all the work they do. So we're holding Daf Yud Beis, Amud Beis, by a brand new Mishnah. We're going to try to go from Mishnah to Mishnah on Yud Gimel Amud Beis. Says the Mishnah, Ir sheyesh bo Avodah Zarah. Okay, so if you never learned any Avodah Zarah, it's perfectly fine with starting a brand new Mishnah. It's like a brand new Masechta now. A city that has Avodah Zarah taking place that day. So the first Mishnah says, you're not allowed to do any business with an idol worshiper 3 days before their holiday, because you said one of the reasons, main reason, because they're going to go give praise to the idol. So 3 days you stay away from them. So what if they're doing the idol worship right now? There's 2 types of stores. Stores, even today, there's a store, you put something out, you have a flag on July 4th, you put some wreath, the holiday lights, whatever it is, you want to show that you're part of it. So you put, the Gemara is going to talk what exactly they put outside, but you show that you're in their program. In other words, you probably give some of your money, you give to the Avodah Zarah. Little meiser, yeah, exactly. There's literally a story like that in Beit Shan. There's some store. Not every store is part of it. Since these guys give some of their profits, the tax they give to the kaimer, whatever it is, the guy in charge of the Avodah Zarah, so your money is going to Avodah Zarah. So here's the question, Rabbi Zai, the question. Are you allowed to give profit to Avodah Zarah? Is that also? Perhaps the Isser is to take from Avodah Zarah. Maybe to give to Avodah Zarah is okay. What do you guys say? You allowed to give to Avodah Zarah? No. Doesn't make sense. You should be able to give to Avodah Zarah. No way. Hillel, what do you say, Hillel? Oh, Gevaldik. You hear what he's saying? He's saying good.
By some people it's not to give. By some people it's not to give.
It's your Hano, but you're the Jew. The question really is, does the Avodah Zarah get Hano? So let's see. It's not so much about the Jew, it's about the non-Jew saying something inappropriate to the Avodah Zarah. Thanking the Avodah Zarah because of you, and that is your fault. We said that's Lifnei Iver, that's putting a stumbling block to the non-Jew, making him praise his Avodah Zarah. So, Hamutaris Asuros, V'she'en Mutaris Mu'utaris Mutaris. So this is a very important Rashi that we all must know, because this Rashi has a bomb kasha. So first Rashi says like this: the boys of V'she'en Mutaris L'shakli Minayu Michsal Avedis Kechavim. Those who don't have whatever decorations outside, don't take the tax for Avodah Zarah. And Avodah Zarah doesn't receive anything from that. Oh, but here comes the question. But what about the first Mishnah in our Masechta? What about you're not allowed to do business 3 days before their holiday? All of a sudden, because they don't have decorations, you're allowed to do business with them, but you're not allowed to do business with Avodah Zarah 3 days before. And this is on the day of the Avodah Zarah. Certainly, and the Mishnah says even 3 days before the Avodah Zarah, you're not allowed to do business. So he says like this, it's a very important yesod that we have to remember for today's sugya. You're not allowed to sell to them. You're not allowed to sell the Avodah Zarah because you might sell them an animal. You might take that, he might take that animal and shechtif Avodah Zarah. Or the pshat is that the person buying is going to be happy. Only the first Mishnah says, Rashi, is when you're not allowed to sell him something. But to buy from them davar miskayim, to buy from them gold, silver, diamonds, something that's going to last, shari the stav moicher atzavu, because most sellers, they're sad. They're only selling because they're desperate for money. They don't want to get rid of it. Okay. Says the Gemara. What kind of decorations are we talking about? something like this. Here, you decorated your storefront with roses and hadassim that smell good. The thing is, because he benefits from the smell. It smells really good, and therefore you cannot go into such a store and purchase anything. Why? Because you're benefiting from these hadassim and aravas that were at the kroivus avodah zarah. You got to stick that in, okay? With your little pencil, put it in. It was at the not just you didn't go to the store and buy flowers. You took those flowers and put it in front of your avodah zarah. So now it became like a carbon to the avodah zarah. Now you're hanging it on your storefront. Anybody that walks in is benefiting from the actual avodah zarah itself. To kroivus avodah zarah. This guy opens up a brand new store. Right? It's an old joke, but I heard it from Rav Schachter, official Schachter. So he said, it's a classic. He says a guy opened up a new store and somebody sent him a thing of flowers. So he looks inside, says, "Rest in peace." So he calls up the flowers place. He says, "Why did you send me rest in peace?" He says, "Oh man, that means the other guy at the funeral got welcome to your new house or whatever. Welcome to your new place. Welcome to your new location." Yeah. Okay. But if it's like this, put a bunch of bananas on the front, that's not a problem because there's no smell, there's no hana, you don't get any hana from it. Mutaris, my timer. Here, this is very annoying. I'm going to tell you something really, it's going to push a lot of buttons here. It pushed my button, I got to tell you. This really annoyed me. I'm just curious what the Olam here thinks. There's a story not so long ago where a bunch of Neturi Karta, you know who these guys are, the guys that go to Iran, they decided they're going to do a big mitzvah, and they went into the cemetery on Yom HaZikaron right before everybody showed up, and they took all the flowers off the graves. So the shaila is, were they over on Gneva? Does anybody think they're over on Gneva? No?
No, because they're crazy. They have no das. So they're not
That's also. Okay. But then here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing. They took the flowers and they try to sell them in Ramah Bet. So the shaila is if it's not so much the flowers, the actual vase is valuable. So he said, listen, it wasn't owned by anybody. They said it's also about you're not allowed to benefit from a mace. So no, the mace didn't want it. Why? Because you're not allowed to put flowers. They did a mitzvah. You're not allowed to put flowers on a grave because they got. So Mela, it was never the mace, and if it's never the mace, you're allowed to sell it. The kids I just want to push a button. I hope I push your button. My time lo yidbak b'yochtcha me'uma min acherim. Oh, so since it says in the pasuk, where's that pasuk? Huh? I don't have to show the pasuk because it's in here, right? You shouldn't take anything from the Avodah Zarah. In other words, not even the smell. By you smelling it is asur. So don't go in there. Great.
Why does flowers only have smell and fruits don't have smell?
No, fruits don't have smell. You go home, check it out. Your apples have a smell. Flowers.
After some time.
Okay. Yeah, after some time. Yeah. Does your wife take the rose and go? Does she do that to the apple? Nenu da'asur al mahana shari. So Rish Lakish says like this. Rabbi said, listen to this. Rish Lakish says not like you guys. Rish Lakish says nehenu da'asur. By you smelling it and benefiting is asur. But to give money to the Avodah Zarah, that's okay. You're allowed to purchase from the Avodah Zarah. Daf Yomi Amud Aleph on top. Rabbi Yochanan Amar afilu mutaris bepeiros nami asur. Rabbi Yochanan says no. You're not allowed to give anything to the Avodah Zarah. So even if you walk into a store that you know they're going to give some of your money to the Avodah Zarah, how do you know that? Because there's a bunch of bananas and apples on the front. You're not allowed to go in there. You're not allowed to purchase anything. How does he know? If you're not allowed to benefit from them, certainly don't give to the Avodah Zarah. Okay, so we have a machlokes Rabbi Yochanan and Rish Lakish. Meisvei, we have a question. What do? They have a little trick. They say, if you are part of our group, you're part of our Avodah Zarah, you don't have to pay sales tax today. No sales tax. It's one day of the year, no sales tax. So you go over there and you have a big problem. What are you going to do? If you put this on your head or on your donkey's head, we know that you're part of us. You don't pay sales tax. All you need to do, you need to wear a little crown, a little wreath on your head, and you're good. So now what do? We're gonna absolve no tax today, day off. What is it called? Like in Jersey they have that. No, you go to tax holiday. If you don't wear that, you have to pay the taxes. Yehudi shenimtza sham, a Jew that's there, mayasa, he's stuck. He's a memanavshach. Yaniach, if he puts this wreath on his head, nimtza nehenna, he's enjoy. So if you have an art scroll, who has a English art scroll here? No, don't look over there. Look on top. What is the? This is I was yesterday I had a meeting with Oiz V'Hadar. Maybe I'll tell you guys a different day. Something special. I brought him this from this line right over here. It says over here, if you're a Jew, Mayasi Yaniach, if he puts the wreath on Nimtza Nehenna, he's gonna benefit. What is he gonna benefit? What? What's the hana?
The smell.
Sales tax. That's what I thought. Sales tax. How do you know smell? Because you have a Hebrew art scroll. You have a Rashi also. Wow. That's unbelievable. What kind of Gemara is that? Let me see what you got. It's unbelievable. Yeah. No, I'm just saying the difference between the Hebrew and the English art scroll, in a lot of places, the Hebrew art scroll tells you the pshat behind it. The English gives you a literal translation. So it says, you are benefiting. Shekei Nehena, you're benefiting. But it doesn't say what the benefit is. It could be two benefits. The smell that we were talking about up until now, and the tax benefit. Rashi says the benefit is the smell. It's interesting because before we were talking about, I'm now thinking now out loud, before we were talking about a tikrovis Avodah Zarah. It's really the smell of Avodah Zarah. Over here you're putting on your own thing. Okay, fine. But look at this Taisvis.
The money is yours. Right, it's not called
how do you know? Taisvis. Check this out. Taisvis says exactly what Avi Kamians. He's a lawyer. He has a Yiddish cup. So Taisvis brings Rashi that you're going to benefit from the smell. But what about what you said? He has a tax benefit. It's much more. You're enjoying a $200 benefit instead of a little smell. And Nikra Nehena says Taisvis, that's not called enjoying. The money is yours. Not giving money is not the same enjoyment. You're not receiving enjoyment. You're just keeping your money in your pocket. It's different. Now, so the guy has a dilemma. If he puts on this crown, he's going to enjoy the benefit, the reach of Avodah Zarah. He doesn't put the crown nimtza mahana. He's going to give the Avodah Zarah benefit by buying something, and 10%, let's say, goes straight to the Avodah Zarah, goes to the whatever. I don't want to say it here. Goes to the, you guys know what, the Avodah Zarah house. Mekano Amru. So it comes out like this. It comes out different than Rish Lakish. Mekano Amru. Listen to this. So therefore, also to do business with them. Now I go to this store because you have this dilemma. If you go there, you're going to give them money. But what did Rish Lakish say? Rish Lakish says it's not a problem to give them money. The problem is to receive from them. This sounds like Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan says it is a problem to give them money. Not only that, it says, so let's say you did go there. You didn't know the halacha. You went there, you bought a nice animal. Crazy halacha. You bought a $2,000, that's what it costs today, right? A $2,000 cow. Behemoth talker, you have to take a knife and cut its tendon. Below its knee, cut the tendon. You buy all these things, you buy a suit, you buy fruit, vegetables, you have to let it spoil. What about money and valuables? Anything that's made out of metal? You should go, take it, and throw it out. You know what? I'll tell you the story right now. This is a perfect time. I'm leaving Shir last night. It's about 10:30. I'm walking. One guy was walking with me. A car pulls up. He says, I just drove from Sheleimah. Can I give you something? I said, okay. Who are you? He says his name is Aryeh Bar, I wrote it down, Bar Eitan. You know the guy? Okay. This is what he gives me, a gift. I don't think he ever got a gift like this. It's a Givaldic gift. First of all, it comes with a box, MDY box. Open it up. Pure silver. 4 of these, because he gives these out. If you do a Pidyon Haben, he wanted me to show the Olam what the Pidyon Haben is. But here's the kicker: $3,300 gift, an ounce of gold. He says, I want you to show the Olam what an ounce of gold is. And if you don't trust me, he didn't say it like that. He says, I want to give you a special digital scale that weighs the ounce of gold. And he weighed it. It's a little bit more. It's 30 point something grams or whatever. It's a nice gift, Rabbi Isai. It's a gift. It's a private gift, but it's the shear's gift. It's like I have to use it. I can't buy anything for my wife now. I'm keeping this. Every time the Gemara talks about gold, silver, beautiful. What? iGold. Yeah, the name of his place is iGold. He also sent me a beautiful email this morning right before I came to share. Very long. You know what he says? I'll tell you what he says. He says that I'm going to read it tomorrow, Bezer Hashem. It's a long one. But he says he just found the shir by Makas. He says, Mechayim Mesim. Before I was dead, now I'm alive. He works the whole day. He does real estate. He does this. He has this place. It's a bank of gold. You give them the gold in a lot. No, mom, whatever. But Mechayim Mesim. That was the line he said. I called up Benny. Benny was on the way home. I said, Benny, come back here. You got to meet this guy. And then I left him. What happened? How long did you speak to him? A long time? Yeshmak.
It's not an Aron Kodesh, but it will do.
What? It's not Aron Kodesh. It's a nice little gift here. No, like if they're, why don't you come to share? Hey, you just drove him from Yerushalayim to give this to me. Shkoyach. Anyways, so if a guy has this, you buy this from the guy here. I could use it today. You buy this. You get this $3,300 coin. You take it and you put it in the Dead Sea. There's nothing you can do with it. So either you chop it up in a grinder and put it in the ground that nobody can get to, but if you don't want to chop it up, the only way to get rid of it is put it in the Dead Sea. You can't even put it in another ocean because somebody's going to go scuba diving there and find it. You put it in the Dead Sea.
So it's because the salt eats out.
Yeah, the salt will corrode it, exactly. Veza Ikur. Hamenasher Parshisem and Akur. Arya, you can open up a business. Go under. You told me you never hit that thing. It's a new business. You said gold doesn't erode. So go down there. Maybe people threw out gold there over the years. Yishmak. And you're not allowed to use it though. Vezi Ikur. So we're gonna have a little bit of discussion. What's this Ikur business? You do one of these. You got to chop it from the arrow down. Yeah, if you look at the chart on top on the screen, you can see it. It says mefurish. What do you do if you put the crown on? You're going to benefit from the Avodah Zarah. It says mefurish. You're not allowed to purchase anything because you're giving them mahana. You're giving them money. Rish Lakish says you're allowed to purchase from them. You don't care. We don't care if the money goes to Avodah Zarah.
As long as it's mevayish, he says, as Mefarish says in the bottom. If the gift is mevayish the Avodah Zarah, then you could do it. That's what he says only in the bottom.
Mevayish what? What is it? I'm trying to think. I saw that. Are you sure it's for this?
Yeah. After that, he says, but if the na is a bizayin, then you can do it.
I know Muetas. No, where do we have it? I thought I put it in. Okay. I think it's here. Or something else. I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, fine. Zog the Gemara. You're asking me a question that over here you have something that says against Reb Shlakish. You're right, it's against Reb Shlakish. But guess what? There's a machlokes. And not only is there a machlokes, the machlokes between the many and the few. This is the Rabbanan. Reb Shlakish picks Rabbanan. And he has the better side now. He goes with the majority, he goes with the Rabbanan, so it's better. They hold you're allowed to buy from a guy. By the way, I'm just throwing, my ADD just kicked in. Did anybody hear a huge sound in the middle of the night? Yes. Where the house shook? About 1 o'clock in the morning? Yes. Two of them. My wife woke me up in such a panic, and I thought she's crazy. And then another one, because we're higher up, it shook. Something like, what? Yeah, you heard that. Okay, good. We're not the only people. It wasn't our building collapse. Okay, good. Whew. But the panic, Rabbi said, wow, these women, they went through some trauma. I'm like Rabbanon that argue, and Rabbi says there's no machlokes. No machlokes, because Rabbi has a major problem. How can Rabbi Yochanan admit there's machlokes? You hear the problem? How can Rabbi Yochanan admit there's machlokes? If there's machlokes, guess what? He's on the wrong side. If Rabbanon hold like Shlakish, what does Rabbi Yochanan hold? Like the individual? So he says right away, there's no machlokes. Whoa, v'loi pligi, there's no machlokes. V'tanya, holchem li yirid, you go down to a fair, like a marketplace. Shaloi d'gechavim, on the day of the Avodah Zarah, on that day, right? All these things are on the day of the Avodah Zarah. And what does it say? All we need to do is read these 4 words. Then the Brisa continues for 5-10 lines. But what's important for us is this. V'loichim mahem behema avodah mushvachos. You're permitted to purchase from them. Rabbi Yochanan says you're not allowed to purchase from the Avodah Zarah on the day of the Avodah Zarah because some of the money goes to the Avodah Zarah. Over here it says mafurish, you're allowed to buy from Avodah Zarah. What are you buying from them? An animal, a slave, a shivcha, bottom, even real estate, sadis, kramim, vineyards. The kaisiv malabar kaisham, you're allowed to go into the courts. This is maybe what you're talking about. The arkais is you're giving them covet, you're giving them this. By going in there, it's permitted to go into arkais. Arkais, it's also to go to the arkais. Yeah, but if you're saving yourself, here's a heter. You have to ask your local rabbi, right? But if you don't go into their arkais, what are you going to do? You're going to lose your real estate. You just purchased a nice building, and somebody comes into it. You gotta get a deed. The whole thing that's in their arkais. Listen to this halacha. If the guy is a kohen, you're allowed to go into chutz laaretz, even though chutz laaretz has tumah d'rabbanan, because you don't know where they bury their people. And you're allowed to go in there, to go in there and litigate. Do whatever you need to do with them. Here's like a riddle. You're allowed to go into chutz laaretz and become tamei. You're allowed to go into basic kfaros. A kohen is allowed to go into basic kfaros. Ask the Gemara immediately. A kohen is allowed to go into basic kfaros. Tumah deraisi. You're not allowed to go in there. Ella beis pras d'rabbanan. You're not allowed to go into a beis pras. What's a beis pras? What?
You are allowed in a basic process.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, but correct. Typically speaking, you're not allowed to go into a beis pras. What's a beis pras? A beis pras is a place where there was we have a little bit of a video. This is a video not to be funny. There's a video to teach the idea of beis pras. What is beis pras? There's a field that used to have a grave and somebody plowed it over. Here we go.
Beis HaPras refers to a field with a grave that has been plowed over, raising a concern midrabanan that the bones may have been scattered across an area of 100 amos. On our daf, we learn about the issur for a kohen to pass through such a field, except if he is on his way to marry a woman or to study Torah. You may be asking yourselves, why would someone plow right over a grave?
He's learning Torah while he's doing it. Valdi. That's the base of brass. What?
He's watching himself.
Because he's part of the daf. That's the whole thing. That's the whole idea. He's part of the daf. That's watching the daf. That's watching him. It keeps on going. It's like a mirror, I guess. They're like those. Anyway, so we're concerned that a fragment of a bone, because the bone that's kisaira spread 100 amos is like 200 feet in each direction. So you're not allowed to walk there. But this guy, he's allowed to go to learn Torah. Hold on, one second. Over we have a rule. I forgot to tell you. You're a guest. You're allowed to, but once. Says the Gemara, you're allowed to become tamei, go through this to learn Torah and to marry a wife. That's if you can't find another shear in Eretz Yisrael. But if you find a shear in Eretz Yisrael, every time you're not allowed to go. Even if you find another shear in Eretz Yisrael, you're allowed to become tamei. The guy went to ask the the Rav, big problem, his father was a big Rosh Hashiva, and his father was very disappointed in him because he was learning Daf Yomi. His father said, well, it's bitul Torah be'echos. You're not chopping everything. You gotta harve it. You gotta iyun. And he says, no, I enjoy it. So they went to ask Rabbi Yitzchak Zilberstein. Rabbi Yitzchak said, what's he doing? He says he's learning by rebelli. So, rebelli, that's motor. If that's what you're, what? It's a ma'aseh shkamatoyo. If you enjoy it, if that's where you enjoy, that's where you go. Whatever you enjoy. You have a Rebbe in Eretz Yisrael. It's not the same. Everybody learns from a different person. What about, seriously, this is brought down in Shulchan Aruch. This we had with Mordechai Weiss. Remember we had it with Mordechai Weiss. He wanted to stay in Eretz Yisrael for another year, Shana Bet, and his father said no. What's the halacha? Before Shana halacha, if a son wants to go to Chutz La'aretz, the father says, but I'm scared, it's dangerous, this, that. The son has the right not to listen to his father. He doesn't have to listen to his father when it comes to learning Torah from somebody else. So let's remember Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi, the one says, you're allowed to go learn Torah. Now, we're trying to bring a raya from the first part, 10 lines ago, that says you're permitted to buy from a guy. Fine. There's a story where Talmud went to learn Torah in Chutz La'aretz. So Taisa says over here, if I can remember here, Pirush v'daita lavzal Eretz Yisrael. You're only allowed to go to Chutz La'aretz to marry a woman if you have intent to go back. Don't stay there. Oh, she's from there, I'm staying there. And then he goes on to say, there's machlokes and Taisas, if it's only learning Torah and marrying a woman, because it's very chashuv mitzvahs, the Shilta says even anything else. Just we're bringing Torah and Lisha because these are considered lighter mitzvahs. Interesting. But the Taisas holds it's only these two. What does that mean? So Rashi explains, this has nothing to do with anything. But don't tell me that Rabbi Yochanan never saw this whole long brisa. Because Rabbi Yochanan himself comments on this brisa and says, you know what? Rabbi Yossi is right, you're allowed to learn Torah. So if he saw this brisa about Torah, then he saw the first part that says you're allowed to buy from a guy. So why is Rabbi Yochanan saying that there's no machlokes if you're allowed to buy from a guy? Rabbi Yochanan holds you're not allowed to buy from a guy. And there's no machlokes. Over here it says before you're allowed to buy from a guy, and Rabbi Yochanan saw this brisa because he comments on it. I'm a pligi. There's no machlokes. So the Gemara says this answer, we're going to see it again on Amud Beis. There's a big difference. A store or an individual. A store gives taxes to the government, not only to the government, to the local Avodah Zarah guy. That's a problem, says Rabbi Yochanan. You can't go into a store. I was talking about going into the store. This over here is talking about buying an animal from a private individual. Those private individuals, they don't pay taxes to the Avodah Zarah, so you're allowed to buy from them. On Amud Beis, we're going to see that there are some balabais that do pay taxes. So there's three categories the Gemara is going to say. There's a store, there's a balabais that's there all the time, and there's a guy that just shows up for 5 minutes and sells his car real quickly on the corner of the street. He's not going to pay taxes to the Avodah Zarah. So now we're just going back into it. Behema talker. If you buy a behema from the Avodah Zarah, you have a problem. You got to do something that renders it useless. Cut its tendon. What is it called? Achilles tendon, right? Like the guys that snaps in basketball. Not a good injury. It doesn't heal, right? How can you do such a thing? It's terrible. It's very painful for the animal. Because this is a specific thing that the Torah says. As to say to Hashem tells Yeshua that by Knan you take their animals, cut their tendon. We have a problem. We say that it means to cut the tendon. Like this picture, I showed it 20 times, it doesn't matter. From that point on, from the hak down. You're not allowed to, today, we don't have a Beis HaMikdash, unfortunately. So why are you making this hegdash? You're saying this goes to the Beis HaMikdash, but there's no Beis HaMikdash. You're not allowed to make something hegdash. It's also another lashon of hegdash. What's erichin? This is erichin. Everybody has a certain value, the Torah says. So let's say you're a male between the age of 20 and 60. You have the top, you're the top tier, you're worth 50. So if you say, I want to pay Noam fixes erech to the Beis HaMikdash, so you owe the Beis HaMikdash 50. The problem is there's no Beis HaMikdash. So what do? You didn't listen and you did it. Now what do you do with the 50 shekel? If you gave an animal to the Beis Hamikdash, you must render it useless by cutting its tendon. Oh, we would think that it's the tendon, but the Gemara is going to tell us it's something else, and that's the problem. Daf Yomi Beis, Yerakvu, it should all spoil. This is the same thing we had before. If you have money from iGold, you take it and you throw it in, you put it into the Dead Sea. Now this is the big problem. Vezu ikur, what does it mean ikur? Not like we said, cut its tendon. Terrible thing. You put it into a room and you let it die. So the kasha is, well, now the kasha is, we said ikur means to cut a tendon, and now you're telling me ikur means something completely different. I'll just tell you the famous joke over here. There was 3 people that were thrown into jail for 20 years, and they each had one. You could get one thing. So the American said, I want a cell phone. Cell phone, okay, they gave him a cell phone, 20 years. The Italian, I want to go in with my wife. The Arab, I want cigarettes for the whole 20 years. Okay, no problem. After 20 years, they open up the door. The American's like all excited with his cell phone. He did a lot of stocks and this and that. He became a multimillionaire. The Italian, Givaldic, everything's great. The Arab comes out, he goes, anybody have fire? Fire? Zog the Gemara. Oh, so we have to do this first. Hold on. Turning to the Daf. Adar Global Experts in International Financial Services. Anonymous says, Ruchnis and Gashmis for the smooth, healthy labor and birth. Givat Shalva. This is another corporate sponsor. A Torah true community in Givat Zev. Zog the Gemara. Omer Abaya. Shani Osa Mishum Bezayin Kachim. If you cut its tendon, how long will it last? A pretty long time until it dies. So therefore, it's an embarrassment to cut him. But by putting it into a room, not giving it any food, it'll die right away. Day 2, it's done. Ask the Gemara, well, if you don't want kachim to be embarrassed, I have a great idea. Do a shchita and finished. End the story. Die right away. And less pain. Says Gemara, also people might come to eat it. Why? Because they see a shechted animal, they come to eat it. Ask the Gemara, make it a gistra. So now today we don't do animals so much. We do cars. Here, this is a good example of what a gistra is in a car. That's a gistra. You take the animal, chop it in half like that. Here's another. I found another gistra. Here's a gistra. There's a Tesla. How do I know? Because it says on a Tesla. All right. So gistra means just chop it in half, so nobody can eat it. Nobody's going to think that's kosher. You chopped it in half, and like this, it doesn't have to suffer a slow death. Omar Abayam Akra. This would be also. You're not allowed to chop up something that's kaddish. It's hegdish. You're not allowed to start chopping it up. It looks like you're rendering it a balmum. As the Gemara, nira mumalyu. What do you mean nira? It looks like you're chopping its tendon. That's a real mum. It might not be the treifa, right? Treifa is above the hak. Lower than that is not a treifa, but it's a mum. Says the Gemara, a mum is only something that ruins something from going to the mizbeach. In our days, we don't have a problem with a mum. Since anyway you can't bring it onto the mizbeach, it doesn't matter if you make a mabal mum. That's the Gemara. This is a whole sugya Rashi brings down. If you're allowed to do bloodletting to let's say an animal's a carbon, and it's about to be a carbon, but it looks like it's dying. So you could save it. You take a syringe, you poke it, you do bloodletting, and it could live. You're not allowed to do machlokes if you're allowed to do it because you're making it a bal mum, but it's going to die anyways. So here you have a situation where there's a mum, it's dying, it's a pretty big mum to die, and then you're going to do another mum on it. That's a problem. So the Gemara says, you see from here, and that's to save its life. It's a machlokes if you're allowed to do it. So to add another mum would also be a problem, even in our sugya. It's Seems like over there, you can't put it on the mizbech, it's dying, and nevertheless you're not allowed to do it. Says Gemara, Balmum nidli chaz legufei. In the time of the Beis Hamikdash, you're right, it has a mum, but lidmei chazi, you could still sell it. You could redeem it and take the money and buy something. There's something you could do with it. But in the hour we don't have a Beis Hamikdash, so there's nothing you can do with it. There's no pidyon. There's nothing, and therefore it's different. Says Gemara, Rabbi Yoni bumped into Rabbi Eloi. He was standing by the entrance to Tzur. It says that if you purchase an animal on their Avodah Zarah day, you must render it useless by cutting its tendon. Eved mai. Crazy question. What about a human being? You bought an Eved. So the Gemara says, first of all, time out. Let's break this down a little bit. Eved Yisrael, look at my barley. Of course you're not allowed to cut a Jew's tendon. You don't own him. He works for you for 6 years, but you don't own him physically. My question was, what about a non-Jewish slave that you own him physically? What's the question at all? So, idol worshiper and somebody, a shepherd. Now it's interesting. Yeah, we had a lot of all our Gedalius Adar, all Yaakov Avinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, David HaMelech, Rebbe Kiva, the greatest of the great. We're all shepherds. But there's a big problem to be a shepherd and let your animals graze in other people's fields. Then you're a big ganav. So if you're in big trouble from whatever it is, you pretend you don't even see. You just keep on going. The guy fell into a pit, you let him stay there. It's interesting halacha. You don't throw the guy into the pit physically. You don't throw an idol worshiper into a pit. But if he's begging for you to help him, you don't have to. But you see from here, you're not allowed to throw him into a pit. You're not allowed to kill him. You're not allowed to cause damage to the idol worshiper. You don't have to help him. So too, your slave, you don't have to help him. But you don't cut his tendon. Yeah, today there's a whole shaila. Every time we mention it, it's kedai to go back. The Shulchan Aruch says that nowadays, since we don't have Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, so there's no problem to have sheep. The problem is today that we're the roiv over here. It says in the Shulchan Aruch because we don't have a lot of that, but today we are. And they're saying, well, the reason why the mitnachlim they're always shepherds and everything is because they want to control land. It's Yishuv Eretz Yisrael, so it's mutter. It's a whole sugya. Says the Gemara. Shvachis. You're allowed to buy from the non-Jew on the day. Are we referring to just a Jewish slave or even a non-Jewish slave? It probably means only a Jewish slave. So the Gemara says very interesting. Why are you buying this Jew? You're buying this Jew to help him out. You're doing a mitzvah by buying him. You're buying him off a non-Jew, so you're going to bring him into a Jewish home, you're saving him. But what mitzvah are you performing by buying a non-Jewish slave? Rabban says in the name of Shmuel, no, there is a mitzvah when you buy a non-Jewish slave. By him becoming your slave, now he has to be toivel, get a bris milah, the whole thing. He's mekayim mitzvahs like a woman. So you brought him closer to Hashem. Interesting. Seems like there's an inyan to bring more goyim into Klal Yisrael. Omer Ravashi, that's great by a human being. What kind of, how are you bringing an animal into the Shechina? The famous Maisa Shahaya. A guy comes to the Reform Rabbi and says, Rabbi, could you make a yisker on my dog? So Rabbi says, no, I don't do that, but there's a shul down the block that does yisker for dogs. I don't do that. So the guy says, oh, what a shame, because I was going to give a $50,000 donation to the synagogue. Okay, I'll just go down the block. He says, oh, you didn't tell me the dog is Jewish? The dog is Jewish, I can do it. So I had a Maisa. We had a Maisa, I'll just tell you real quickly. I never said this Maisa, but Reb Nachman is here, I was going to say. I was going to donate the shul right behind this wall. I donated it, Lili Nishmas, my mother. I donated money for it, not it. Donated money for it. So Reb Nachman told me before shul, so listen, you can donate all this money, let's do a thing. I'll say that you'll match any donation in the shul. But what happened before that, I got to, hold on a second, hold on, it's serious stuff, but it's a great, hold on, quick Maisa.
Yeah, look at him.
My father was by me for Simchas Torah. My father always, every year, gets Chassan Torah. So he told me he's going to Vesikim Minyan over here by Chaniche. It ends up good. He goes to Chaniche. Good ending.
You need more time for this story.
No, it's real quick. I'm saying real quick. He's going to Chaniche. So I called up the guy from Chaniche and said, listen, my father's coming. How much do you want for Chassan Torah? He says, I can't sell it to you because there's a bid. I said, whatever the bid was last year, tell me what it is, and I'll just add, whatever, 50% more. Just, I need to get. He said, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I can't do it. Fine. The next day, I see all the guys in the shul schmoozing. What's going on? I hop afterwards what happened. Because they decided, I'm going to have to double what they do, so everybody's going to get together. Time out a second, hold it. Why are you saying this? Hitzer. They start, it's $1,000, $2,000, $20,000, $30,000. It's going. And I told Nachman, there's a certain limit. Bottom line is,
limit. That was the problem.
Okay, so I didn't say limit. Okay, whatever it was. How much did it end up being? My donation, my thing.
146,000 shekel or something. 146,000 shekel. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so whatever it was. Okay, 146,000 shekel. Just take that number in. Motzei Yontif. This is the best part, though.
No, so now you have to decide what to do. Because if you're going to double it, remember?
I was going to double it?
Yeah, you said you're going to give twice the amount of any donation. So now if they get it, then you have to give twice that.
Well, they gave it. I gave it twice.
You said, no, so you said 148.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to double it because you went higher.
And they couldn't go higher?
No, that was it.
Okay, fine. So the bottom line is I just like the end of the Maisa. Motzi Yontif, I get a phone call from the guy from Chaniche. He goes, I didn't know you want to give 146,000 shekel for the Aliyah. I was like, no, I'm giving a donation to the shul. No, I didn't buy Aliyah for that. It happens to be I put it in an Aliyah. I got an Aliyah out of it. But it was just a donation. I was going to give the donation anyway. Okay, anyway, I just thought it was funny. Calls me up. Well, that's it. If I would have noticed 146, and now we're talking. Now I would have given your father a thing. Shkoyach. Says the Gemara. Yeah, great Maisa. Yeah. Where are we holding? No, we're done. But what are you doing with the behemoth? When you take an animal, you take a cart from the idol worshiper, he has less belongings now. It's good. Meaning a guy that needs to raise money, now he has less belongings. So by taking his belonging, taking his animal from him, it's good. Let's just do this real quickly till the Mishnah. Rabbi Yaakov Zav and Sandala, Rabbi Yirmi Zav and Pita. Two Tanoim. One bought shoes from the idol worshiper, and one bought a pita. Now, both of them, it's a sandala is something that lasts, so it fits into our sugya. Pita says Taisus is because it's and he bought it from a guy. How do you buy bread from a guy? So Taisus says either there's no other bread, so you're allowed to buy from a guy, or you bought it for a slave. Okay. So now this is typical human behavior. You do something that looks bad, just as bad as your friend, but you look at him and you put him down. He says, Yasma, you orphan, you non-Talmud Chacham guy. Avad Rabbi Chacha, your Rebbe would act like you. The other guy looks at him, what are you talking about? So I bought a pita. Look at you. Yasma, you're an orphan. Avad Rabbi Chacha, how do you buy shoes from him? Like, why do you think you're better than me? Says the Gemara, but they both bought from the individual. So from an individual, you're permitted to buy, we said. But the other guy, each one thinks of the other guy. Yeah, I'm a tzaddik, but he's what is he doing? I'm here for a reason on Avodah Zarah day. I'm allowed to, but he shouldn't be here. But he also is allowed to, and he thinks about you that you shouldn't be here. It's only when you buy from a store, the shakli michsa minay, because they give the taxes to Avodah Zarah. Mutter. But if you buy from an individual, it's mutter. If Rabbi Yochanan was alive at this place, in a place, in nowadays, in this place, the Avodah Zarah is very careful. They take from everybody, even from individuals. Havasar, you would say, you're not allowed to buy from individual. So how did they buy the sandals and the pita? There's three categories. There's a balabais, a guy that sells his salat here in Ramat Bet Shemesh in the Merkaz every single week. He doesn't have a store. He pays taxes. This is the guy that does it with a one-time thing, doesn't pay taxes. From him, you're allowed to purchase. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at mdydaf.com.